My boyfriend and I have been dating for 3 months. And when we started dating, I got really jealous. He was my first boyfriend and I just didn't know how to control my feelings. You can say I'm pretty toxic. Part of the reason why I'm so insecure is because my boyfriend is probably one of the most popular guys in school. He's a basketball player and he's about to be drafted. So all the girls are constantly trying to hook up with him. And this drives me insane. Whenever we go out, girls are falling over trying to get to him. A few weeks ago, I heard a rumor that my boyfriend had hooked up with a girl. When I asked him about it, he got really defensive. He got so angry he punched a hole in my wall. And well, this made me start thinking, maybe he was cheating on me. So I basically started stalking him. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. I'm even skipping class just to go wherever he's going. That's when I decided that I would hide in his room. I even put on a diaper. I put on the diaper so that I could hide under my boyfriend's bed without having to get out. Disclaimer is not my story time, I was sending me on Instagram. I even took soft food with me so that he wouldn't hear me chewing. I knew he wouldn't be home, so I snuck into his dorm room. That's when I checked his entire room. I went through all of his clothes, even went through all of his dirty laundry just to smell them and make sure he didn't have anything in his pockets. Searched in between the mattresses and I found nothing. At this point, I was just looking for a sign of him having hooked up with somebody. I knew he was going to be coming home soon, so I snuck under the bed. It was pretty hidden underneath there because it's a huge bed. He came in by himself and started changing and went to take a shower. But he took his phone with him into the bathroom, so I didn't have a chance to check it. By the way, he thought that I had gone home to my parents' house, so he wasn't going to be hanging out with me at all. As he was getting ready, he put on cologne, and that's when I knew he was going to go look for another girl. A few hours later, he comes back and I'm still underneath the bed. And guess what? He's with a girl. The same girl I heard the rumor about. They come in there laughing and I can tell that they're clearly drunk. This girl goes to the bathroom and changes into lingerie. And then they started making out on the bed while I'm hiding underneath it. As my boyfriend is making out with this girl on his bed, I'm hiding underneath it. Suddenly, she starts talking about how she's so happy they're finally a couple. How she's so happy he got away from me since I was such a crazy ex. Clearly, my boyfriend had been poisoning me against her. That's when I realized I really couldn't blame the girl. My boyfriend had clearly told her that he had broken up with me and that now he was with her. My plan was to initially get out of the bed and surprise them, but instead I decided to wait. I managed to set up my phone while they were doing it on the bed, and I recorded the entire thing. After they finally finish, she leaves. My boyfriend goes to take a shower and I finally come out underneath the bed. And I sit on his bed. And the look on this man's face when he comes out of the bathroom, priceless. But the best part is that I was filming the entire thing. At this point, I was still wearing the diapers because I had been under his bed for 2 days. I'm obviously looking rough. Then I tell him that I've been under his bed for the entire 2 days. He started calling me crazy and he tried to kick me out. Then I told him that he needs to break up with the girl and come back with me. If he didn't, I would send the video around to the entire school, including his coach, who is the girl's dad. I got him pretty good. So now he's still my boyfriend, although it's forced, to get back at him somehow. I'll keep you guys updated. Bye! Is it normal that my boyfriend threatened to unalive me and himself if I try to leave him? Disclaimers are not my story time, I was sending me on Instagram. My boyfriend and I have been together for 6 years. He's always been very judgmental of everything I do. The clothes I wear, if I wear makeup, if I don't wear makeup, if I'm friendly, if I'm too friendly. He just finds a way to make everything I do bad. He's always been very controlling and very jealous too. But in the past 3 years, things have gotten even worse. Exactly 3 years ago, he asked me to marry him and I told him that I just didn't think we were ready. So basically, I said no. He took this as me saying that I didn't want to be with him, that I didn't love him, and that he wasn't good enough for me. Obviously, I don't think any of those things, but I said no because our relationship was not in a good place. I was always constantly scared of him and worried that he would get mad at me. I knew then that that was not a good situation to get married into. I can't imagine how much worse he would be if we actually got married and he felt like he owned me. After the proposal, he became more insecure and wanted to keep tabs on me all the time. Even if I'm going to my parents' house, he still calls me and checks on me if I'm still there. He's even called my mom to ask her where I am. After the time where he called my mom and asked her where I was, my mom got really upset. She told him that he needed to give me space. And as you can imagine, him being already toxic, this made him extremely violent. By the way, at this point, we'd only been living together for 2 months. I came home to a broken TV. Our 75-inch plasma, he decided to throw on the floor. Then he told me that I needed to control my mother. And how dare she tell him how he needs to behave. Then he told me that he would never speak to my mother again. I mean, how does he think that this is going to make me any happier? I called my mom and told her that he had broken the TV and that he was extremely upset at her. My mom demanded that I leave him. But I know, it sounds so stupid. I still love him and I do feel bad for him. I know how much he depends on me emotionally, so when I got off the phone, I told him what my mom said. Then he flat out said, if you ever leave me, I will unalive you and then me. Then he punched a hole in a wall. So I went straight to my parents' house. After I ran away to my parents' house, he sent me a message saying that he would give me some time. I thought this was a good sign. Maybe he was starting to understand what I needed. I stayed at my parents' house for a week, and that's when I started noticing that he was driving around my neighborhood. If I went to the supermarket, he was there. Eventually, I called him and we made up. He did try to work on his jealousy, which made a huge improvement in our relationship. The only problem is that anytime we would ever get into a fight and I would say that I needed space, he would come back to the same thing. Always say, I will unalive you and then me. He knows that by saying that I'm gonna instantly stop the fight, but I'm starting to think that he's not gonna do it. And I heard from a guy friend that his girlfriend says the same thing to him, so I'm just wondering if it's just him being dramatic.
Y'all please! I will never hang out with a white boy again. This white boy came to pick me up because, you know, I was trying to get that little diddly dick. And as soon as we get into the car, he's smiling at first and then he starts looking at me weird. I'm just like, okay, whatever. So we drive to his house. His mom is... I'm not gonna be able to get through this. His mom is there and she looks fucking terrified when she looks at me. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm probably the first bad bitch that he brought to this house. I'm sorry. So we go into his room. You know, we're just chilling, watching a movie, whatever. And then his mom pulls him out of the room. When he comes back, he asks me, do you need to go to the hospital? I'm like, no. Why the fuck would I need to go to the hospital? He looks at me. He's like, oh, me and my mom noticed that your scalp is peeling off. It was my fucking lace. My fucking lace friend. I'm like, what? And I run into the bathroom and I'm looking in the mirror. I look in the mirror and I see a whole part of my lace is lifted up. Once I told him it was my hair, he got mad and called me a catfish. He made me Uber myself home.